Okay, this is TempleOS 5-minute random code walkthrough episode 96, and I'm your host, Terry Davis. And where did God take us today? Looks like we are in the compiler. Oh no, I don't understand this. I wrote it and I forgot. Okay, this is for variable initialization. So when you, I don't know if this is for both globals and, okay, we are in statement parser. Okay, so what we have to do is these ADs are array dimensions. So there's a linked list for as many dimensions as the array is. So what we're talking about is, let's say you, I'm not sure if this is for global variables. Oh, it has to be for globals, yeah. So if you say I64 array, let's say 4 by 5, how about 4 by 3? Oh well, 4 by 4. Okay, so if you say array, and then you say 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we have to 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so if we do something like this, we have to parse that. What if it's it could be a class. What if we had a class class student s age. I think we better, well, let's see if this works. U8 name. Let's be so. Let's do 8, just to be silly. So let's see if this works. 2 students. S. So we want name. Terry. I'm 45. Comma. I don't know. Mom. Comma. I don't know who's a good student. Jim. How about that? I don't know who Jim is. Okay. I don't. So we have to. So we have to parse this. Okay. Let's. We're not going to do a main. We're going to do a dump. Dump. Address of S. Dump. A. Okay. So S has Terry and Jim. It has a 0, but it's not. It doesn't clean out the garbage. Actually, why doesn't? I'm surprised. Maybe it does. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then the age, Jim. Yeah, it doesn't clean out the garbage. And then down here is the A. You can see we started a new one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's our goal. That's our goal. And we have the Lex node, which is basically keeping track of everything. We have a destination. I guess we already have. Oh, this is a pointer. A pointer to a pointer. Then we have the class and the array dimensions. And what is this? Data address. IP instruction pointer. Base. Boy, I don't remember this. Data heap. That's a Boolean. Okay, so there's two code. There's a code heap and a data heap, And the code heap is the low 2 gig. And if we're on the code heap instead of the data heap, it's a little, technically I put global variables on the code heap for the time being, but they really belong on the data heap. You can set a flag and it will put them there. But anyway, so let's see. So we have to we get the class figured out. Then we go through the array dimensions. We have, oh, that's if it's an array. This is, oops. We were in bar in it too. Okay, so if it's an array, then we have to do multiple values. Otherwise, we do one value. If it's a single. So if it's an array, if it doesn't have any stars, what is that? If the class is not a pointer and it's a byte, that's if it's 8 bits. If it's 8 bits signed or 8 bits unsigned, and the value in the that we're parsing is a string, then this is where we could make it 0 pad. Remember we saw that it did not 0 pad. We could fix that right in this part of the program. Anyway, so that's if it's a string, and otherwise if it's a pointer. What? Wait a minute. Okay, so this is if it's not a pointer. If it has 0 stars, does the first half. If it is a pointer, we just go ahead and skip braces. Now if the array count is less than 0, I don't even remember this. Apparently I put a -1. If I think I might do a minus count if you enter 2 braces that are closed, and then it has to figure that out. Otherwise, if it goes through all the count of the array, and it's a recursive call, as you can see. And then finally, when it gets to the singulars, goes there. So this is the single value. So we can go ahead and look at that. That's this routine up here. We're not going to look at that. Basically, it parses a single value. So if it goes through the members of a class, and what do you call these? Co-recursive? I don't know. Anyway, coroutines or something. So if it's pointers, we have to somewhere in here is where it parses integers, and it parses strings and integers separately. If it is a string, you do this. So if it's not a string, oh, it's parsing an expression. As a matter of fact, sometimes it will put dynamic code at runtime to be dynamic. As a matter of fact, if it has to, it will put dynamic code. Otherwise, we call the expression. I think this puts code in order to initialize, and if it's static, so if it's checking to see if it's constant. If it's not constant, then it puts dynamic code. Otherwise, for evaluating the expression, the integer or whatever expression. Otherwise, if it is constant, we call the code, and then we store the. Let's see. We copy. We have to deal with whether it's supposed to be converted to float or converted to integer. It's supposed to be float or integer. We have to do the conversion, and then we copy it into place. So that's how that works.